Laban chases Jacob. On the third day, Laban was told that Jacob had run away. He took his relatives with him and went after Jacob. 7 days later, he caught up with him in the hill country of Gilead. Then God came to Laban, the Aramean, in a dream at night. He said to him, "Be careful. Do not say anything to Jacob, whether it is good or bad." Jacob had set up his tent in the hill country of Gilead. That's where Laban caught up with him. Laban and his relatives camped there too. Laban said to Jacob, "What have you done? You tricked me. You've taken my daughters away like prisoners of war. Why did you run away in secret and trick me? Why didn't you tell me? Then I could have sent you away happily. We could have sung to the music of tambourines and harps. You didn't even let me kiss my grandchildren and daughters goodbye. You've done a foolish thing. I have the power to harm you. But last night, the God of your father spoke to me. He said, 'Be careful. Do not say anything to Jacob, whether it is good or bad.' Now you have run away. You long to go back to your father's home. But why did you have to steal the statues of my gods?" Jacob answered Laban, "I was afraid. I thought that you would take your daughters away from me by force. But if you find anyone who has the statues of your gods, that person will not remain alive. While our relatives are watching, look for yourself. See if there is anything of yours here with me. If you find anything belonging to you, take it." But Jacob didn't know that Rachel had stolen the statues. So Laban went into Jacob's tent and Leah's tent. He went into the tent of their 2 female servants, but he didn't find anything. After he came out of Leah's tent, he entered Rachel's tent. Rachel was the one who had taken the statues of Laban's family gods. She had put them inside her camel's saddle. She was sitting on them. Laban searched the whole tent, but he didn't find anything. Rachel said to her father, "I am sorry, sir. I can't get up for you right now, but don't be angry with me. I'm having my monthly period." So he searched everywhere, but couldn't find the statues of his gods. Jacob was very angry with Laban. "What is my crime?" he asked. "What have I done to you that you hunt me down like this? You've searched all through my things. What have you found that belongs to your family? Put it here in front of your relatives and mine. Let them decide between the 2 of us. I have been with you for 20 years now. The little ones of your sheep and goats were not dead when they were born. I haven't eaten rams from your flocks. I didn't bring you animals torn apart by wild beasts. I made up for the loss myself. Also, you made me pay for anything stolen by day or night. And what was my life like? The heat burned me in the daytime, and it was so cold at night that I froze. I couldn't sleep. That's what it was like for the 20 years I was living with you. I worked for 14 years to marry your 2 daughters. I worked for 6 years to get my share of your flocks. You changed the pay 10 times. But the God of my father was with me. He is the God of Abraham, and the God of Isaac. If he hadn't been with me, you would surely have sent me away without anything to show for all my work. But God has seen my hard times. He has seen all the work my hands have done. So last night, he warned you. Laban answered Jacob, "The women are my daughters, the children are my children. The flocks are my flocks, everything you see is mine. But what can I do today about these daughters of mine? What can I do about the children that they've had? Come now. Let's make a formal agreement, you and I. Let it be a witness between us." So Jacob set up a stone as a way to remember. He said to his relatives, "Get some stones." So they took stones and put them in a pile, and they ate there by it. Laban named the pile of stones Jegar Sahadutha. Jacob named it Gilead. Laban said, "This pile of stones is a witness between you and me today." That's why it's named Gilead. It was also called Mizpah. That's because Laban said, "May the Lord keep watch between you and me when we are away from each other. Don't treat my daughters badly. Don't get married to any women besides my daughters. There isn't anyone here to see what we're doing. But remember that God is a witness between you and me." Laban also said to Jacob, "Here is this pile of stones, and here is the stone I've set up. I've set them up between you and me. This pile is a witness, and this stone is a witness. They are witnesses that I won't go past this pile to harm you. And they are witnesses that you won't go past this pile and this stone to harm me. The God of Abraham and Nahor is also the God of their father. May their God decide which of us is right." So Jacob made a promise using the name of the God of his father Isaac. He offered a sacrifice there in the hill country, and he invited his relatives to a meal. After they had eaten, they spent the night there. Early the next morning, Laban kissed his grandchildren and his daughters. He gave them his blessing. Then he left and returned home. Jacob gets ready to meet Esau. Jacob also went on his way. The angels of God met him. Jacob saw them. He said, "This is the army of God." So he named that place Mahanaim. Jacob sent messengers ahead of him to his brother Esau. Esau lived in the land of Seir. It was also called the country of Edom. Jacob told his messengers what to do. He said, "Here's what you must tell my master Esau. Your servant Jacob says, I've been staying with Laban. I've remained there until now. I have cattle and donkeys and sheep and goats. I have male and female servants. Now I'm sending this message to you. I hope I can please you." The messengers came back to Jacob. They said, "We went to your brother Esau. He's coming now to meet you. He has 400 men with him." Jacob was very worried and afraid, so he separated the people with him into two groups He also separated the flocks and the herds and camels. He thought, Esau might come and attack one group. If he does, the group that's left can escape. Then Jacob prayed, You are the God of my grandfather Abraham. You are the God of my father Isaac. Lord, you are the one who said to me, Go back to your country and your relatives. Then I will give you success. You've been very kind to me and faithful, but I am not worthy of any of this. When I crossed the Jordan River, all I had was my walking stick. Now I've become 2 camps. Please save me from the hand of my brother Esau. I'm afraid he'll come back and attack me and the mothers with their children. But you said, I will surely give you success. I will make your children as many as the grains of sand on the seashore. People will not be able to count them. Jacob spent the night there. He chose a gift for his brother Esau from what he had with him. He chose 200 female goats and 20 male goats. He chose 200 female sheep and 20 male sheep. He chose 30 female camels with their little ones. He chose 40 cows and 10 bulls. He chose 20 female donkeys and 10 male donkeys. He put each herd by itself. Then he put his servants in charge of them. He said to his servants, Go on ahead of me. Keep some space between the herds. Jacob spoke to his servant, who was leading the way. He said, My brother Esau will meet you. He'll ask you, Who is your master? Where are you going? And who owns all of these animals in front of you? Then say to Esau, They belong to your servant, Jacob. They are a gift to you from him, and Jacob is coming behind us. He also spoke to the second and third servants. He told them and all the others who followed the herds what to do. He said, Say the same thing to Esau when you meet him. Make sure that you say, Your servant Jacob is coming behind us. Jacob was thinking, I'll make peace with him with these gifts I'm sending on ahead. When I see him later, maybe he'll welcome me. So Jacob's gifts went ahead of him, but he himself spent the night in the camp. Jacob wrestles with God. That night, Jacob got up. He took his 2 wives, his 2 female servants, and his 11 sons and sent them back across the Jabbok River. After they had crossed the stream, he sent over everything he owned. So Jacob was alone. A man wrestled with him until morning. The man saw that he couldn't win, so he touched the inside of Jacob's hip. As Jacob wrestled with the man, Jacob's hip was twisted. Then the man said, Let me go, it is morning. But Jacob replied, I won't let you go unless you bless me. The man asked him, What is your name? Jacob, he answered. Then the man said, Your name will not be Jacob anymore. Instead, it will be Israel. You have wrestled with God and with people, and you have won. Jacob said, Please tell me your name. But he replied, Why do you want to know my name? Then he blessed Jacob there. So Jacob named the place Peniel. He said, "I saw God face to face, but I'm still alive." The sun rose above Jacob as he passed by Peniel. He was limping because of his hip. That's why the Israelites don't eat the meat attached to the inside of an animal's hip. They don't eat it to this day. It's because the inside of Jacob's hip was touched.